Alright, hello team. We are on to level 3. So the point of this video is to take you through the movement standards for the strength and movement benchmarks for level 3. Now, before I get started and take you through each of these movements, by the time you get here and by the time you get to level 3, you've gone through level 1 and 2. As this is a newer system, as we shoot this video right now, some of you that have been with us for a while, you're already finished level 2 and you're moving on to try and graduate from level 3. Now, in order to graduate from level 3 and move into level 4, you have to tick all these prerequisites off the list, as well as some attendance prerequisites and some habits prerequisites. So go and have a look at the PDF and you'll be able to see what those habit and attendance prerequisites are. But you would have already, if you're new to us and you've worked your way from level 1 to level 2, you would have already done a lot of those through level 1 and level 2. They'll be in separate videos, so you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to have a look at those there. But for the point of this video, this is all about our transition stage, so our transition at level 3, where we start taking away and we start moving away from the habits, because by the time you get to here, you already have them locked in, dialed in, and you are killing it with those. And now we're going to start to put some performance metrics, so some strength and movement benchmarks on where you should be going and what you should be attaining to do within your training. So starting from the top, now you'll notice that some of these have different benchmarks for males and females, so we've listed those out there. You have to do unbroken strict pull-ups or pull-ups. So it's 3 for males, it's 1 for females. You have to be able to do a 1 minute dead hang. You have to be able to do strict unbroken push-ups, a 5K run in under 35 minutes, body weight deadlift, so that's your body weight, not someone else's, 75% of your body weight for a back squat and 50% of your body weight for a press. Now, come grading day, whenever the grading days may be, you can choose to tick off all of these or some of these. If you have just graduated from level 2 and you know that you're not going to be able to get maybe any of these, still come into the grading day and you can test where you're at, because let's say, for example, you're not quite at a bodyweight deadlift, you might be 90% of bodyweight deadlift, and that is something that you need to tick off in order to graduate level 3. By testing it, we know how far away from it you are, and then we can help you put a plan in place between that grading day and the next one. So do not avoid grading day, even if you know you can't tick any of these off your list, but come grading day, you can tick 1 or as many of these off as you like. Now, right now I'm going to take you through the movement standards. Now, these movement standards are strict. We want you to move, and we want you to do these movements in a way where you are moving the best you can and moving the best you can for everybody, not just for you. These are the standards that we are going to hold you to for these levels as you move to level 4 and level 5, and we're trying to increase capacity across some of these movements. You have to continue to stick to these movement standards. So let's start with the pull-ups. So with the pull-ups, for the females, you ladies are looking at doing 1, and the guys are looking at doing 3. So when we do them, what we're going to do, we'll jump up. We want to jump into a nice hollow position, and then we're pulling up all the way through and lowering ourselves down. Now, if you're doing 3, so for the males, you have to maintain that nice hollow position throughout all 3 reps. Okay, no bending at the hips, no arching, no overextending. We want to make sure that it's a full upper body pulling movement. Now, on the last rep for everybody, so for the ladies, you will have to pull up and lower yourself down. It won't count if you pull up and let go at the top and come down. We want to see control throughout the whole movement, all the way up, all the way down. Same goes for the guys. When you pull up, you'll do 1, 2, 3, and on that 3rd rep, we want to see you lower down to that bottom position throughout all 3 reps, maintaining that nice hollow position. So that's the movement standards for the pull-ups. There's a little bit there, but the biggest thing that a lot of you will probably need to work on, you may be able to do a strict pull-up, but you may not be able to maintain that nice hollow position. So you may need to do a little bit of core strength in order to get there. The next movement that we're going to do is a dead hang. There is not as many prerequisites for this. We're just going to go overhand, okay, fingers and thumbs wrapped around, and then we're just going to hang off the bar. It doesn't matter whether it's a passive hang or an active hang. We just want you to hang off the bar and try and maintain that position for a minute. What we're not going to allow you to do is readjust while you're up there. We want you to jump up, maintain that position, and really work that grip strength. So if you're up here going, okay, in between the minute as you go through, that's not going to count. We want you to go up, get a good hold on the bar, then the time will start, and you've got to hold that for a minute from there. So that's for the dead hangs. Movement number 3, or the third thing that you can tick off your list, is the push-up. Now, for the push-ups, they are strict and they are unbroken. The way we're doing it is a little bit different to how you may do in a conditioning workout. And we want you to do it on more of a cadence. It isn't a time cadence, but what we're looking for, nice straight line from your heels to your shoulders, chest to touch the ground, but you're not resting, and then full lockout at the top. So down, chest to touch the ground, full lockout at the top. We need to see control. We need to see you maintain that midline stability, and we need to see that you are going through a full range of motion, chest to the floor and all the way up. Things that won't count is if you rest on the ground and then snake it up. Okay, if you rest on the ground and don't snake it up, it also won't count. We want you to touch the ground, but show us that control in that bottom portion. We also want you to make sure that we're maintaining that midline piece, okay? So even if you're touching the ground and then going, leaving your hips on the ground and pressing up, okay, we won't allow that. We want you to maintain that good position. So nice straight line, chest to the floor, all the way up, okay? So 5 for the ladies, 10 for the guys, unbroken, throughout a nice controlled range of motion all the way through. After we've done the next one you can do, so number 4 is a 5K run. Now, if you want to test the 5K run on the morning, you're more than welcome to do that, but this is a conditioning one. And as with some of our other conditioning pieces, you will find that they'll come up in class from time to time. So you may not actually do these on a grading day, you may do them outside of grading. And for the 5K run, this one's a little bit different. If you want to do it at home, and you want to track it on something like Strava or something like that and send us through a copy of that report, then we will take that as you working and grading for that particular run. So some of you, even by the time you get here, may have already done that. It's 35 minutes for a 5K run. You don't have to do it here, but we will need something tangible from you. So like I said, something like Strava will normally track these things, so you can send that through to us and we can have a look and we can just tick that off the list. Or if you do want to come in on grading day, and this is the thing that you want to tick off your list on grading day, we can get that through for you as well. From there, we're going to move on to our 3 barbell movements. So all these barbell movements are all at a percentage of your body weight. So we will obviously take your body weight, we will record that on our sheet, and then what you're trying to do is for the deadlift, you're trying to hit a body weight deadlift. So if you currently weigh 75 kilos, you want to do a single rep on the deadlift at 75 kilos. If you weigh, let's say you weigh 100 kilos, for the back squat, you want to be able to back squat 75 kilos, which is 75% of your body weight. And then for the press, you'll do half of that. So if it was 75, you'd be doing 32.5. If you weighed 100 kilos, you'll be doing 50. So for the movement standards for those, for the deadlifts, we're going to go conventional deadlift for this one. So feet underneath our hips, toes pointed forward. We're going to grab that bar about a thumb's distance away from our shin. Now look, this is a testing day. We are doing it for a single, so your technique may break down a little bit, especially if it's heavy for you. Yes, we do want you to maintain good posture and position all the way through, but we also understand that you're pushing yourself and you're testing, and this isn't something we do all the time. So from here, what we want to see is the bar's going to rest completely on the ground. Then from there, we're going to stand up, full lockout at the top, making sure everything's nice and straight, and then the bar has to be controlled back down to the ground. If you stand up and drop it, it's not going to count. There needs to be an element of control on the way down, okay, for the body weight deadlift. So that's the deadlift. If we go on over to the back squats, you'll be taking the bar in and out of the rack. And again, I won't go through specifics for the back squat for the technique. We've gone through that in class. But ideally, what we're looking for is from a standing position, we want to see the crease of your hip clearly pass the top of your knee and then full lockout at the top in order for that rep to count. Okay, so that back squat, you need to go through a full range of motion. Now, if you've been working with us in class and you're unable to hit that full range of motion, obviously we will know, but the goal, doesn't matter what stage of your training journey, is to try and get you moving through that full range of motion, but we do understand some of you may have limitations around that, and if that's the case, you'll move to the consistent range of motion that your coach has worked with you on. Okay, so that's the back squat, and then from there, the press. You'll start with that bar in a good front rack position, so in contact with your shoulders, and then from there we're going to press up, finishing with arms extended, so elbows locked out, and that bar centered over our heels. Bring it back down, and then walking it back into the rack. So this is a strict press, as we refer to it, or a military press, and we want you to make sure that biggest thing is when we get to that top position, we're full lockout at the top. Okay, so everything's centered over our heels. If you press too far in front of yourself, that's not going to count. We want to make sure we're keeping that bar path nice and direct, leaving that weight over our heels. So if we head on over to the whiteboard, we'll finish this one up. That's the movement standards for everything you've got there. Once again, just to reiterate, come grading day, you can choose if you know you're going to crush every single one of these. If you would like to do every single one of these come grading day, you can do every single one of these. If you know that you're going to be able to tick off 2 or 3, you pick those 2 or 3, you tell us what they're going to be when you come in, and we'll get those ticked off the list, and then you can start working towards the ones you don't have so that you can get them ticked off next grading day. Or if you're not sure if you've got any of those, I would pick the ones that you think you're closest to, and then we will test those, and we can test some other ones. So have a think about what you want to do. It's up to you once you come into grading day to tell us what you're going to test from this list. The only exception to that you can test at another time would be the 5K run. And as I said, we just need you to have that printed out, or whether you're using something like Strava or Map My Run or whatever the case might be, you can do that. You can take a screenshot and send us through, and we can get that ticked off your level 3 prerequisites straight away. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarity around the movement standards. Yes, they are strict, but the whole point of this is to get you moving as well as you can, so that later on, as you start to get older, you're going to be able to stay strong, stay fit, and stay healthy. And with those movement standards and holding yourself to a high enough standard of movement and holding yourself accountable to that, that's going to hold you in good stead as your training journey wears on. So that's level 3. We'll be doing some other videos on the level 4 and level 5 standards, but that is the basis, that is the foundation. So thanks very much. Talk to you soon.